Yeye amekuja kutuambia secrets za president. The presidential secrets. Amekuja kutuambia hapa vile bwana wake ndio walijenga the Air Force One.
Sasa nishuke juu najua nitacharazwa. Na hapa kwangu kuna nursery school. Thank you for the platform.
Utapewa kiboko.
Nitachapwa kiboko na vile sina hata guts za kuhandle.
Ati Ukara amefanya nione hiyo Air Force America kama zile boats za kuvua samaki. Hili wameanga Magini ni yako inasumbua network yako. Ngitaki.
Niko na network ingine. Niko na network ingine Imbo. Niko na network ingine Imbo but mutani understand.
Utakuelewa.
Where I have good wifi.
Haya, chukua.
Yeah, so mko aje? Sasa nimesikia ati mnaongelelea nini huku? Ati ndege sijui ndege imefanya nini? Nani anaunda ndege?
Si bwana ya Ukara anaunda mandege jamani.
Hello guys, it's your girl Patience Status. Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscription box and put on the notification bell so that you don't miss any time I post a new video. Remember, I'm the queen of online gossip. So welcome to today's video. Don't forget to give it a like and leave a comment on the comment section.
Michigan Technology University. He was the president of the engineering. He was the president of Apple 2012 to 2013.
Na si mimi niliwaambia hapo, si nilishawaambia bwana wake alienda nini?
2018.
Yake alifanya mechanical engineering.
Michigan Technology. He was the engineering president.
Tuoye. This is sad.
So one thing is when I married is somebody who likes to experiment. Hapendi kukaa pale pamoja. No. So after he did that, in 1999-2000, there was this engine that it wasn't just his company. It was different engineers from different companies. They got tired of planes just engines ziki let out zinaanguka. Unaona? So they needed like a backup. They started designing like a backup. So the backup that they designed, and they collaborated with other company. Your contract was given at US. The contract was given to them. Bombardier, is that the company's name? Bombardier. Challenger 300. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So wakapewa contract July 14, 1998.
Aki Diana unapeanga watu kazi mingi TikTok. Angalia kama mtu ameenda kula documents zote.
The first flight of testing this backup engine was August 14, 2001. Okay? And then they did some licensing, then FAA gave them a certificate, which means this engine could now be used in commercial flights. And so they got their FAA certificate in June 25th, 2022. No, 2002. And then they got their other validation. So by November 27, 2002, this engine was being used as a backup engine. And all the engineers who worked on it through Honeywell walipewa placard yao to show what they did. So I told you guys that he patterned. He later on, some other planes that they worked on over the years that he worked on. I remember whenever they work on these planes, these are like, seti kazi wanaenda wanafanya once, makazi mnaenda mnafanya for, your plane maybe take 5 years. and it's teamwork. There are people who do bodies, there's people who do the oil part. Yeah, and I, kazi yake tu ni easy. There's a calculus he does. So that let's say engine moja ikifail, na ile ingine ifail, the backup engine can take over and your flight can fly for an extra like 12 hours. So this was the first one that was tested on a test over the Alps, and it was a success. It was the Alps.
Tutajuaje ni bwanake? Guys.
Watani record tu hivyo, then from there nitaichukua leo simu ina record.
Guys.
The army. And it was 2 engineers. As you can see, it is him and another engineer, and it was P.W. Ellison. He got contracted to the army. And the two of them who worked.
Angalieni mjaribu kufanya ile mkono ingine ndio mbaya zaidi.
And they refined their skills on making stuff.
Atakute Mishi Brown na mtu ampatie ya nini?
Nilikuwa natamani kufanya sana was to design a smaller, because even it was big, it was one.
Yani lazima angekram pro.
For him, he was like,
But
no.
anyway, let me ask guys, what has this got to do with her saying the husband anafanya Air Force One, ali design aircraft?
He had done engineering for a lot of years. So he wanted to make a pattern. Hiyo pattern itampatia nini? Itamlisha yeye akizeeka, italisha juku wake, italisha, as long as his pattern is being used, kama zile za Nikola Tesla, as long as that pattern is being used to design backup engines on any flights, he still gets his check. Ni kama a musician, as long as your music is out there, hata kama ulishakufa, bado watoto wako, bado wajuku wako watakuwa wakipata pesa from it. And this was his baby, this was his success. He was not the only. Magazeti, you guys can go and look at this.
Nati Magazeti.
The pattern is called United States pattern, and it's called Cruciate because he was the main engineer. ETLA, which means he worked with other engineers to help. Okay. So this is his baby. The pattern number is US 9611786B2. And it got qualified by the American government on April 4th, 2017. Okay? And I don't know how to read the specs, but I can read the name of the other engineers who collaborated, who also get money from this. So kuna engineer...
Baite kwani mpenzi wa Ochot, ni modeleta kila mahali.
Manga pia tuachana na yako all over the place.
His name is an inventor. I'll give you the number so you can go pull it from... the US government. He was the main inventor, but he had a Chinese person, guy help him. And this other guy is Chinese, and then a guy called Thompson. And they worked under his main company that hired him, called Honeywell International I Inc. of Morrison. So he lists everything what this thing designed, and this is how. Like, he lists everything. So this is his baby. This was his $1 million idea. Mpaka ameandikiwa hapo, Ernest Cruciate III, thank you for making technology the foundation of our success at Honeywell, and congratulations on your pattern. Itakuwa signed Honeywell. So this is...
And
the rest of us are going to eat on for the rest of our life.
Aki TikTok too.
This was his
Mungu anawaona.
idea. And so when they were redoing, because they have to redo it, they did use this pattern. So as long as this pattern, this engine in a run by Air Force One.
But they were redoing when they were redoing Air Force One.
Here's the pattern. Yeah, for the rest of our lives, because it is from the other man, Ernest G. Cruciate. even though he partnered with people, the pattern is his name. United
Aki
Pattern,
mikono jo.
ETLA. He did work with other engineers for it. Mpaka ikakuwa filed 2012. Yani he has all the, I don't know how to read these things. And then there's some other documentations, Apple, abstract, and then it just shows like an abstract figure of how the engine works, okay? And then finally, the government congratulating him. Ni kama hao watu wanafanyanga patterns za vitu zingine. These things, they feed you, it gets qualified, it gets filed. They feed you for the rest of your life. Then he got like Manuel chose this pattern to put in Air Force One during the Obama presidency.
Guys,
So what we wanasemanga, my
Guys.
husband was not an
Guys.
aerospace engineer. I got very lucky.
Oh
Working
God.
a millionaire was not real estate, it was this. Akakuwa bored. He told me he got bored of looking at screens and doing maths. He had done it for so long. So 2017, ndio tukazaa Lola. And he really loves the kids, and he wanted to do early retirement at 55 because we already had money coming in.
Guys, ebu pause tucheke.
So he
Pause
went
tucheke.
and got
Nataka
a
tu pause kwanza tucheke.
not residential.
Wewe
Commercial
Ndio ita ngoja
TD.
certificate.
Guys, wacha tucheke, hebu weka chekesha kwanza before niongee kitu. Chekesha kwanza. Wacheni niwaulize swali guys, tukue wajinga kidogo. This America, the way America is big on secrets, the way America is big on top secret of the presidents, do you think that America can give secret ya design ya Air Force One mpaka bibi ya mtu mwenye amedesign Air Force One anakuja kupatiana vile Air Force One imekuwa designed? Tuulizeni tu. Guys, na wauliza tu pole pole. The way America is designed, wacheni tu niwaulize. Tuko mpaka na sijui FBI na nini. Tuko na guys, let me tell you, this woman is going crazy. She's not normal. So her husband apparently designed Air Force One, and the patent on the design for Air Force One ni bwanake ndiye alicreate. Na hiyo information haiko classified. Gosh. Ai. Tena ati anakuja kuleta hapa kwa ndege yenye president wa America anaendesha. Guys bwana, hata kama jini wajinga. Aya, tusikie Delulu anaendelea kusema nini?
Nani, Obama alikuwa amekuja, it was some education thing. So then nameandikwa kwa President's Education Award. Hezekiah Crusher on recognition of outstanding academic achievement 2016, and Obama signed it right there. Hello? Are you guys tapping? Oh, mendo wapi? Sasa akanini. No, see, funny. This is the thing. The reason why I'm showing these things is because my husband's achievement, somebody went on Googled something and decided.
Akuna. You said your husband built the Air Force One. Bring us.
Like downplaying his legacy. Okay? So now I am showing you that what I've always said, It is the truth, and there. Na mimi sikuletwa na umalaya America. I've shown you guys my high school diploma. Anyway, so our son, we got very, very lucky, like God's blessing. Our son has excelled in a lot of sports. So he has, not only is he in gifted classes, all his classes, he has excelled in a lot of sports. He won first position, Arizona karate, whatever. He likes karate, he won that. He went on a school tournament, and he also won. So my son Michigan Tech, 1984. And these are just my son's awards. He likes karate, so he won mostly Arizona stuff. So that is who we are. The thing I think sometimes Mungu kuna vile huwa anaunganisha watu. Me, my IQ is like 128, which is just very, very smart. I recognize patterns. My son is way smarter than I am. His father is a genius.
Hello.
So it is actually
Amebuy Amazon hizo awards.
And that's what even happened. He was always certificates. Anafanya certificates. No, kujana.
Mbona umetoa sauti? Si hizo vitu ziko kwa Google hawa.
So when you go to Google and you just pull some Google information, don't let that make you think that you know the lifetime work of the person.
Nasibu nilileta
tunaona hapo ni hobby.
Sasa anamuita husband. See, I thought they divorced.
So anyway, I have also done my part. I think I've shown you guys my degree. This table is not big enough for everything, and I can't bring everything. One cool thing that I wanted to tell you guys, when I first came to America, most of you will recognize this. This was the first book my dad bought me. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I still have it up to now. This was the first book my dad bought me. To be driven, to just like spark, to have drive. One of the best books, my favorite book in the world, and it's such an easy read. And for some reason, this book, I don't know, when this person wrote it, God really put it. This book has inspired a lot of people. My favorite book in it was The Alchemist. My kids I have read it like 10 times. Go and look at the reviews. I
think I read this book when I was in class 5.
Is this something you've always wanted to do?
Class 5.
This book, if you don't have the spark, this book will give you the spark to pursue whatever you dream to do.
Hizi ni vitabu za class 5. Hizi tulisoma tukiwa class 5. Alchemist na nini. Hizo zilikuwa vitabu za class 5.
Personally, I'm from math. I'm horrible at math. I like mostly human studies, human behaviors, and stuff like that. So obviously, number one, tunasoma Bible. Then when I did political science, I wanted to do internship kwa ofisi ya McCain. He ran fast and then he ran again and he didn't win. I wanted to do an internship. And then my husband told me, you have to know something about him for them to even take you for an internship.
Ati alikuwa anataka kwenda kufanya nini?
Faith of My
Kufanya
Father
political
by John
science.
King.
Ati alikuwa anataka kwenda kufanya
Internship.
nini kwa ofisi ya
Internships juu kwa ofisi ya
ofisi ya
nani?
nani ya Martin Luther King, ama nimesikia masikio zangu.
The war was and how it influenced him. And for my political science, I obviously read different presidents. Jimmy Carter, my favorite. So there's so many books. Now most of the books na bomb so many are feminist, but no, there's other interests of things you can read. Maybe into a political science. And sometimes I want to be, you know, you can read a book like this and then it makes you wonder, why was this person strong? Why did this person able to keep us out of war? And then unapata huyo pia anasema one of the books that really helped him be the best president or that has inspired him a lot, si unajua kitabu ya Rick Owen, The Purpose Driven Life.
Ilibidi aende akanunue mavitabu.
His purpose was to never have America go to war during his presidency.
Oh God.
And this is the book that inspired him. So I ended up reading this. But along the line, I got more interested.
Pia anasema how bad is abroad, guys.
You know, you read you end up reading because most of the
It's
time,
this bad.
oh, when I read this book, I ended up reading this other book. And so then I ended up with John Maxwell, Developing the Leader Within. Even my husband loved this book. He read this book a lot. Then whenever we started learning, when the passion thing came through, and now we had money and we had to learn how to invest, one of the books that was recommended to us was this one. It's called Raising Capital for Real Estate: How to Establish Credibility and Attract Investors and Fund Deals. So if you want to be like a big investor, this is like a starter book. If you want to be a big investor in, like we have a library of books, but I'm just showing you like a few books that really did make a difference, okay? And gave us knowledge. We're still reading. Tuko na hii library hapa na tuko na ile library ingine. So we are a house that read books. To some are feminists, but we read. Then, me being me, I wanted to know about power. And this is the one woman who inspired me, not Mother Teresa. Mnakumbuka Benazir Bhutto. She was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. She came from the Bhutto dynasty. They ended up assassinating her in 2007. This woman is my hero. This woman could play politics like nobody else. And that's why they took her out. So this is my hero. I used to dream that one day I'd be in politics and I'll be this tough and this smart and kind. But then maisha wanaenda vile inaenda. The one book that is banned from all high schools, I think all high schools in America, you can check. This book, I'm going to show you a book that helped me be able to, let me just be honest, be manipulative enough and use my beauty combined with my brain, because wanaume wakati unaenda unataka positions of power, yes, they'll see the degree, but men always get seduced by beauty and by powerful women and women who know what they want. And this is literally my Bible, The Art of Seduction. It's not even just about sex. You will find a lot of queens, how a lot of queens seduced power, how Queen Elizabeth was able to maintain power. It's in here. It teaches you everything. And it shows you this whatever they call manipulation, whatever that works for you. And it has all those rules from.
I told you, Mboro protectors. These people who are Mboro protectors, they center. Imagine somebody centering her whole life around a man.
Ni CV, kila mtu akona CV. Kama ni mrembo, kila mtu ni mrembo. What else are you bringing? How are you reasoning? How are you talking? This This is a very manipulative book, but it is a staple.
Exactly, Rashid.
If you want to get into leadership, you want to be the best. Most corporates and most places are still run by men. Sisi wanawake, you have to figure out in your brain how to induce yourself into those places of power and leadership. This is it. For me, this is the OG. This is the OG. Whoever wrote this book, Robert Greene, he did his a lot of women, especially in Europe, how they stayed in power, how they always took power away from men, how sometimes they even just let the men lead. Men think they're leading, but it's them who are really running those countries and empires. Then, kuna siku nikasikia story nyingine mtu akisema, it was about Putin. Putin grew up in a very poor neighborhood, very, very poor neighborhood. And right now he's one of the most powerful people. So again, in our Shangaza, me, I'm one of those people who I want to think, how does this kid come from a father who worked in a factory? His mom, he didn't have any toys, ilikuanga tu rats. But Putin said that he used to play with rats. And one thing he came to understand was, even those rats, you corner, and you corner them very, very well.
Hata sisi afadhali drop out wa class 2 tuko better. We can reason.
So most of the time when he was a boy, he always had rat scratches. They fought back. And that fascinated him because Putin is not a big guy. He has a small build. Nimetua anafanyanga gym. He has a small build. So he developed himself to be stronger and always fight back because he started not only just chasing the rats with you, but he wanted to see their behaviors. Based on the behaviors he learned there, akaenda kwa jeshi ya Russia. Watu wa KGB, they noticed him. KGB mnajua ni CIA. They noticed him that he was different. He wasn't just trained to do something. He was different. He could figure people out. But then remember him as a child, he followed rats around in the poor area. So I ended up, oh my God, it's old. This is one of the books. It's called KGB, The Secret Work of the Soviet Secret Agents by John Barron. It teaches you how the KGB trains their people to have tough minds. How people like Putin are the way they are. Why they're so
Guys, is this normal?
This is the training.
Is this normal? Is this normal? Guys, are we in 2025? Is this normal? I'm just asking.
In politics, and I'm also somebody who's always interested.
This is sad, Aki. This is sad to watch.
Another book that you would not think that would work with all these books. Like, just read. And don't read it ati wewe sasa wewe tu unasoma tu za feminist. Like, read. Men have power. And ask me, what's that power? And then someone like me, I was married to this very smart man who has his own power. Uwezi kaa naye kwa nyumba unaongea about reality TV. Uwezi kaa naye kwa nyumba unaongea about manguo na vibeti. He'll cheat on you with somebody smarter, right?
But she also cheated. Did she cheat with a smart person? Why was she cheating on the husband?
Around marafiki zako wakatenda mahali na ibonini party, you can contribute something interesting that kind of works with it. So I got interested while I was in school. While I was in college, we took the Greek mythology. I don't believe all this is how the gods kept their powers and how they had their talents, from Zeus to Athena to everybody. So mix this, how the Greeks thought the gods kept power and distributed power and decided to run Greek, and how even Helen took over a whole country. Even though she was not pretty, she was able to manipulate and start a war
That is feminism. Kama ajui mwambie, anytime women manage to beat patriarchy, that is feminism. So she's reading feminism stuff.
Mtu ako na interest yake, unaona, usiweke mtu chini juu wewe uko na interest ya ualimu na unaona tu like, oh, you guys need to go read about. No, me, my interest has always been in politics, political science, because that was my second associate's degree. I always wanted to know how people stay in power. And if you're now to, like, if I see a president like Zalek, like, I want to know, how did this person come from just being a musician to holding up in that war between Ukraine and whatever. Somebody's going to write a book, and I'm going to make sure I read it because I want to know what makes this person different, what made him undefeated, because he just used to be a musician. But now in our time, he stood up to Putin and saved his country, and is able to get America and other countries to help him. So my interest has always been power among men, in men, but as a woman, men are not going to just give it to you. You have to seduce it with beauty and brains, and that's where the seduction book comes out, and you learn how it's. So basically, this is what I want to tell you. I was smart, Mungu alinisaidia. Akanisaidia na kelele yangu na mdomo yangu, nikakutana na mtu who is a genius who also had his dreams of something to do. And then our first child who was born ended up being somebody who was gifted. And we have to keep it going. Like, if you have that kind of brain where you want to do something, you have to keep reading. There's no day you're not reading. Niko na yangu nitaonyesha ya Audible. It shows you the amount of books I've read from 2020 to now. No, from 2013 to now. I've read 217 books. Most of them are Russian literature, because I'm fascinated by how the USSR stayed and how the USSR went apart. And I'll show you guys my mapping. Now, in one of the analytics do not lie. Okay? So we're not all stupid. Sisi tukikujanga hapa TikTok, tunacheza, tunafanya nini. We're not stupid. We're not stupid if we're not showing you jewelry, and we're not talking about reality shows, and we're not talking about vacations. We just have different interests, and we don't push those interests to other people. Okay? And my bachelor's degree in nursing, because I wanted to do healthcare, and if I find healthcare, mimi mtu mwenye brain yake napanga all over. So after I did healthcare, I got interested. Ukifanya kwa emergency, one of the things you notice when you work healthcare in the emergency, any nurse will tell you, they bring a lot of people who have been involved in like gang wars. Wanaleta watu wa jela, wanaleta all this, and most of these people are very polite. Like you will expect you to laugh, they're very polite. Na kuna kwanga na bodyguard, ma polisi hapo, wana nini. So you're like, how did this person? Nursing offers something called forensic nursing. Forensic nursing allows you to work in correctional. And if you get certified in forensic nursing, you can even help run the clinic in those closed compounds. Murder, death row, what we are listed as psychopaths, sociopaths. And then from there, I wanted to know how the mind of the sociopaths and psychopaths work. And I ended up being certified forensic nurse psychiatry. So just be interested in life. Just ask questions. And I think that's what has led me to a lot of these things, is because I see people and I want to know, how did this person become who they are? What happened? How do these people even be, And with that, unapata kuna hapa America, kuna a lot of certification that allows you, especially if you're in healthcare, to have a very, very huge, rich Because healthcare has so many different, you can do ICU, you can do forensic, you can do flights, you can do psychiatry, you can do so much. So I have tried, my favorites are psychiatry and forensic. You know, let me tell you something. Most people who are big serial killers, when you want to run to come at gangs, mafias, I have worked with them in closed yards. I want to closed yards because they can run away. Those people, the one thing they have in common, they are very polite. They are very polite and they are very disciplined. Unajua tu hiyo gang yao wanamkanga by 5, wanaanza exercise before breakfast. They're very disciplined. They have a set of rules that they stay by. And then from there, you kind of just start studying. When you notice the human behavior in psychopathy and how they do what they do, you know? And that is also a form of power, right? Because how these jailhouses and prisons run, and how these gangs run, that is also a set of power. And if you do forensic nursing, you get to see these people every day. You get to see their behaviors every day. But one thing I'm telling you, you do not expect these people to be at your gangs. You need what to pole. Now they are extremely disciplined. As if wako army, they are extremely disciplined. So what you are manipulated a government for them to make billions. They have sets of rules and they do not work outside those rules. So you learn these things. And to me, why I was also interested in forensic, mnajua America kama uko na mtoto kijana mweusi, because my son is considered mweusi. He's in danger. He's always in danger. And I wanted to know the kind of society my son will end up living in. Over time, I've taught my son how to protect himself from being bullied. My son doesn't get bullied. I've taught him a few things that I've learned. My son does not get bullied. Because I used to teach him what I see at my job. Because you know, kuna wale wa prisoners wenye kila siku wamekuwa stabbed. But then kuna wengine wana notice nothing ever happens to them. And let me tell you one thing with these people also. Not only are they disciplined, they're clean. Their hair is cut, they're never cut, they're a certain weight, they're a certain body type. Mango zao zinakuanga zimepigwa pasi. They don't look anyhowly. And to be successful in life, you have to have boundaries and discipline. And now ukisoma vitabu za KGB, usome hizi za Americans, usome hizi za sijui seductive, usome everything hivi.
Pozini kwanza, pozini, I want you to pause first. Pause niseme kitu. First of all, Okaro is not a forensic nurse. She does not have forensic certification. Kama akonayo mwambieni aweke hapo. She is not a forensic nurse. And another thing, let me tell you, here in the USA, if you are a forensic nurse, you deal with victims of violence, not perpetrators. Forensic nurses in the United States specifically collect specimens, protect victims, connect victims with social services of their care, and help victims navigate the legal system. That is what a forensic nurse does in America. Hakuna forensic nurse mwenye ana deal na magangs. Hakuna forensic nurse mwenye ana deal na watu wasijui wametoka magang members na manini. That is a lie. If she's a forensic nurse, mwambieni awaoneshe certificate yake. She's not. Never been. She is not a forensic nurse. So that's why she doesn't even know the description of a forensic nurse in America or the job that they do. Guys, forensic nurses in America wanadili na wale victims wa abuse, watu wenye wamepigwa domestic violence, watu wenye wamebakwa, mnasikia? Watu kama hao, ndani hao, si corrections, hizo ni uongo. Kama umebakwa, unafika pale hospitali, kule wale wenye wanachukwanga victims specifically na kudeal na victims because wanawapatia psychosocial support, wana collect specimen from victims, wana preserve victims, wanaenda kupatiana testimony kotini, wana liars na victims pamoja na social workers kusaidia victims kupitia na legal system, wanasaidia victims hata kureport crime. That is what forensic nurses do. Sio hizi vitu zenye anawaambia hapa. Forensic nurses in the US have a specific job yenye wanafanya kwa hospitali. Sio gang members nyatewa. So she is not a forensic nurse. Hiyo ni uongo. TDA buendelea kuzoom ati anasema psychiatry siji ngona. If you deal with psychiatry nursing, you should have known that giving a diagnosis of ngona. What diagnosis did she give the other day? Ilikuwa ni ya nini? Multiple disorder. Exactly, mjomba. They bridge the gap between healthcare and the legal system. That is what they do. Thank you. Huyu ni Delulu Gosh. Ama amekunywa kitu leo.
A little bit about me.
Yawa.
Put the pattern up on my story. Bye.
Oh God.
Amepata ile verification hata mimi niliangusha live saa zile Diane. Ndio watu wa WhatsApp.
Hapana, because alikuwa anaongelelea hizo vitu za sijui nini. Hizo vitu yenye alikuwa anasema ndio imefanya mpaka hizo vitu.
Wanaendelea watu wasome vitabu za feminist, endelea kusoma vitabu za feminist.
Hata hiyo Art of Seduction is a feminist book, my dear.
Amemaliza.
Hajamaliza, amepause live. Haujui Art of Seduction is a feminist book? Haujui? Hata hiyo kitabu ya Benazir Bhutto, it is a feminist book kama ujui. I lay with the feminism in those books zenye ametaja hapo. Do you even know what feminism is? Oh, yawa. Gosh, this has got to be the most embarrassing live I've seen here. Unajua the way somebody wants to come out as intellectual but nothing like that comes out. I was expecting her to come and tell us vile bwanake alibuild Air Force One. Ameshindwa kuleta hiyo. I was expecting her akuje atuoneshe vile bwanake alikuwa advisor wa President Obama. Ameshindwa kuleta hiyo. This is a Delulu, my dear. Amekuja kutuletea vitabu za Paulo Coelho. Guys, mimi Diana Ross, I read Paulo Coelho when I was in class 5. Class 5. Ndio nilisoma Paulo Coelho. Yeye anasema amesoma books 200 kutoka 2021. My dear, in a 1 year alone, Diana Ross reads about, on average, I go for 150, 170 books within a year. And I can show all of them to you. And if you ask me about them, I can tell you everything about them. Unasikia? So, my dear, we bado uko chini. Hiyo league unapiga iko down, manze. Up your game, up your game. TikTok imefanya mtu amekuja kuwapangishia vitu za bwana yake kwa TikTok, jabeni yao. This is sad to watch. Sad to watch, oh, sad to watch. Kajiado, kwani umeingia kwa chai?
Kajiado ako kwa chai.
Ameingia kwa chai ama yuko hapa juu?
Amerudi.
Niko.
Alafu ebu sikieni, mkitaka kujua mwanamke ni muongo. Eti anasema anakuja kusema hapa mbele ya watu ati bwanake ndio walitengeneza the secret patent the patent ya kutengeneza Air Force One. Guys, do you know how many times the Air Force One has been refurbished? Do you know? Guys, mkienda mtashanga. The Air Force One kwanza, anything about Aki unajua, Aki this woman, Aki she keeps on embarrassing herself. Yani mpaka sana nashanga kama before akuje kusema hizi vitu, si aingie tu hata kwa Google tu kidogo akiboye. Yani mpaka hata nimeshtuka. Ati anakuja kutuambia secret yenye ilitengeneza ati the patent yenye ili build Air Force One. Guys, do you know that if your wife even knows a secret of the Air Force One, that can even be considered. Yani hiyo pekee imetosha hata huyo bibi yako auliwe na watu wa US, because the USA is so big on protecting its secrets. Wezi, ndio maana tuko na CIA, ndio maana tuko na Secret Service, ndio maana tuko na kitu hapa kwa USA inaitwa classified information. Hakuna vile watu wa nje ati bibi ya mtu anakuja kuwasomea ati EU Air Force One imetengenezwa hivi. No way, it's not possible. Those are top secrets. Unawezaje kuja kusoma kukwambia watu kwa TikTok vile ndege ya Air Force One imejengwa ati patent ni bwanako alitengeneza? What if maadui wa USA wako kwa TikTok wanasikiza vitu zenye unasema? Like seriously, who does that? How is it even possible, guys? Hey, hata kama ndio kukosa akili bana, we are going at a very dangerous pace here. We are not doing okay bwana, there's something wrong. Guy, ati siri ya US ya ndege yenye nabeba president wa US ati inakuja kusema kwa TikTok na bibi ya guys. Hapa US hata socks yenye Trump anavaa ukijua pali ananunua. Hiyo pekee imetosha kukushika jamani. Ati ukuje useme eti niliona rais amenunua socks. We guys, you cannot. These people believe so much in classifying information. Hey, that's such a big thing. You can't just say it on TikTok unless you are not normal.
Someone else can tamper with it and kill the whole population. Those are like patterns, you know.
Hey, amekuja kutuambia secrets za president. The presidential secrets. Amekuja kutuambia hapa vile bwanake ndio walijenga the Air Force One.
Sasa nishuke juu najua nitacharazwa. Na hapa kwangu kuna nursery school. Thank you for the platform.
Utapewa kiboko.
Nitachapwa kiboko na vile sina hata guts za kuhandle.
Ati Okara amefanya nione hiyo Air Force ya America kama zile boats za kuvua samaki. Hilo wameanga Magini ni yako inasumbua network yako. Nandita.
Niko na network ingine. Niko na network ingine Imbo. Niko na network ingine Imbo, but mutani understand.
Utakuelewa.
Where I have good wifi.
Haya, chukua.
Yeah, so mko aje? Sasa nimesikia ati mnaongelelea nini huku? Ati ndege sijui ndege imefanya nini? Nani anaunda ndege?
Si bwana ya Okara anaunda mandege jamani.
Anaunda nini? Aeronautic.
Aliunda ndege ya Air Force One. Aliunda Air Force One. Kwa view sasa. Na mpaka akatengeneza
mwanaume anakuanga na so mwanaume yake ako nini all round. Si ninasikia pia alikuwa presidential advisor.
Tekesha, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Nothing like that. Nothing. Sasa yeye amekuja kutuletea vitabu zenye amewahi kusoma. Rekodi.
Allah.
Didi akikuchezea hiyo rekodi
okay.
Utachoka.
Air Force One, wala. Huyo mwanaume basi needs to be protected. Aya, mumeletewa forensic nursing 101. Allah.
Waambie tumeletewa forensic nursing. Ati anakuja kutuambia
what forensic nursing?
Ati she's saying forensic nursing because she studied it. Ati it's about the gang members
Ai. Forensic nursing inaingilia wapi na gang members? Forensic nursing basically inakuanga ya nini? Ya victims and then people who are accused and perpetrators of crime. It has nothing to do with gang members. It's just basically hapana jamani.
Yake ni ya magang members.
It's just basically the nursing part of medicine and the legal aspect zina meet somewhere in between to assist victims or the accused or perpetrators. That I don't know, ama maybe forensic nursing ya US, unajua siwezi jua, maybe ya US mnakuanga na gangs.
Imagine akaanza kusema vile vitabu ya ati amesoma vitabu anatuletea Polocello guy. Magi, Polocello tulianza kusoma tukiwa class 5. I read Polocello when I was in class 5. Hizo vitabu za Polocello nilianza kuzisoma nikiwa class 5 mimi. Class 5 ya akasema ati books hizo books alisoma kipindi alikuja hapa US. Ati not just feminist books. Then she's forgetting that feminism also is about politics. Alafu hapo anasema not feminist books, alafu anaongea akisema it's about how women get power. She doesn't understand that how women get power is feminism. Does Okaro know the meaning of feminism kweli? Anaelewa? Anajua?
Forensic nursing guys, by the way, inakwanga just part of psychiatry. It's part of psychiatry by the way. But pia you can specialize on it. As unakuwa tu una specialize as a forensic nurse. It has its own certifications. Those psych nurses sometimes they do forensic nursing, especially hapa in Kenya. Unajua hapa in Kenya hatuja advance sana in terms of hizo specializations za forensic. So most of the time unapatanga the psych nurses are still the ones who do the forensic nursing part hapa. Unaona?
Tidi anafaa kukuchezeshia recording kidogo usikie ucheke Magi. Tidi Kuna part tumeletewa mpaka watoto vile watoto wameachieve kucheza hockey, kucheza nini? Kucheza karate. Tukaambiwa watoto wako na IQ ya juu.
Di mwongeni kidogo ni nini ndio nichezee Magio recording. Nimerecord zote.
Oh, so unamchezea tu kidogo si yote. Sijui kama unaweza kuweka kidogo. Hizo za kwanza vile alikuwa anaongelelea nini?
Okay, sawa.
Usikie udelulu mambo leo.
Tidi unakojoa?
Ni tap ndio nafungulia maji. Aki Magi.
Magi koma. Bwana pia tumeambiwa bwana pia ni genius. Tumeambiwa bwana ni genius. My husband is a genius. Yani women centering men. Guys, don't center men in your lives. Ati nijichunge bwana Okara sinidipot. We. Nabidi nijikuchunge bwana. Niko careful. Nitajificha mimi. Hata nipata. Taingia chini ya kitanda. Sasa tena yuko divorced. Si niliwaambia. Niliwaambia hakuna divorce hata moja huyu mama anafanya. Hawezi. She cannot leave that man whatever happens. She can't. Her whole identity is around that man. She cannot leave that man. Si niliwaambianga hapa msiki. Wacha tucheke. This is a day to laugh. Weka volume nani aone. Magi.
Kumbe sikuwa nimeweka on.
These are drills. So zikivunjika, there's a way engineers can put them back together. So he was just going with it. Then after that, what was standard, Pratt and Whitney had done like a collaboration with BMW. I didn't even know BMW does more than cars and motorcycles. Kumbe pia wako na some things they do. So this was his ilikuwa kadi yake ya voting akiishi Berlin when he was working for BMW and Pratt and Whitney. This was his Democrats abroad, Clinton and Gore, 96. Over the years, he worked on some planes, and planes are like people. Mnaona, mtu akifanyiwa surgery, the person who's doing the head or the arm or whatever is different. So most of these planes that he has, kama hii MD-90 rollout edition, this one, he only worked on the engine and the backup engine, and then they all got just to show them, hey, you guys did it, you know, the whole plane is done. But yeah, he didn't work on the outside. Kuna work outside because he doesn't work anymore. So this was the first one, because this was done in 1990. Then, oh, here we go. I told you he graduated from Michigan Technology University. He was the president of the engineering. He was the president of Apple 2012 to 2013. Alafu wakamruka tena, and then he was president 2018 to 2019. And this is his plaque yake. Plaque yake from Michigan Technology. He was the engineering president. So the one thing with the man I married is somebody who likes to experiment. Hapendi kukaa pale pamoja. No. So after he did that, in 1999-2000, there was this engine that it wasn't just his company. It was different engineers from different companies. They got tired of planes just engines ziki let out zinaanguka. Unaona? So they needed like a backup. They started designing like a backup. So the backup that they designed was called AS900, and they collaborated with other company. Your contract walikuwa na US, the contract was given to them. Unaona pa Bombardier, is that the company's name? Bombardier? Challenger 300, that's what it's called. So wakapewa contract July 14, 1998 na government. Alafu their first flight of testing this backup engine was August 14, 2001. Okay? And then they did some licensing, then FAA gave them a certificate, which means this engine could now be used in commercial flights. And so they got their FAA certificate in June 25th, 2022.
So thank you so much for watching the video to the end. Remember to like, share, comment, and if you have not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe and put on the notification bell so that you know every time I post a new video. So guys, thank you. I'm gonna see you on my next video. Bye.